My name is Pierre Boyer and I live in Walnut Creek, California. Due to the coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, the CDC, Center for Disease Control, suggests that face masks should be worn whenever you are out in close proximity to other people. In some jurisdictions, masks are mandated by local officials. I decided to make my own masks for my family and neighbors. This video will show you how to make the mask with the emphasis on using items that you should have in the home already. The difference between my mask and many designs that you can find on the internet is that I sewed a piece of aluminum in the top of the mask that you can bend permanently around the upper part of your nose for a better fit. Here is the mask. As you can see, there is a stiffener in the front here to fit around your nose. As I breathe, you can see the material sucking against my face. No air is coming in to the top of the nose. The N95 mask, which I have here, also have such a piece to fit around your nose. This helps in three ways. First, it helps support the mask and keeps it in place. Secondly, it keeps the air that you breathe in and out going through the fabric instead of through the openings around your nose. Thirdly, if you wear glasses, it keeps them from fogging up from the moist air when you exhale. These are the things you will need to make the mask. Access to a sewing machine. If you don't have access to a sewing machine, you can sew the mask by hand. A piece of cotton cloth, which could be a pillowcase or a dish towel, and the dimensions are 11 by 13. And it could have a pattern on it to your liking. There are many ways to fasten the mask to your face. I'll give you some alternatives. A elastic band like this, if you have one around the house. Okay. You can also tie rubber bands together like this and use rubber bands with the mask to fasten to your face. Shoelaces work as well. String works, or a piece of narrow cloth will work. Next, you will need an aluminum can, either a soda can or a beer can. The purpose for the can is to come up with a piece of metal that is stiff enough by folding the material in the can over and over again, so you can put inside the mask and then bridge it around your nose to fit, and it will stay in that position. A pair of scissors, a ruler, a pair of pliers or a hammer. This is to flatten the piece of aluminum that will be fabricated from the can. Preferably a wooden skewer, or if you don't have one, a piece of coat hanger. For this portion, you'll need a ruler, the aluminum can, the wooden skewer, or the piece of coat hanger that we talked about, a pair of pliers or a hammer, possibly a magic marker, and certainly a pair of scissors. Okay, the can should be at least 5 inches tall because we're going to take a 4-inch piece out of the can. Okay? Obviously the can should be empty, don't puncture a full can. So with the sharp scissors, I'm going to pierce the bottom of the can with the scissors and then cut the bottom out with the scissors. Rather noisy. Okay. Then at 90 degrees to the bottom, we'll cut a slit to go to the top of the can. Be careful, it could be sharp. Then about 4 inches from the bottom, which is about the full can here, we're going to cut the top out. Now we're left with a rectangle of aluminum like this. Okay. We can do a little cleanup. We want to trim the edges to get rid of the sharp pieces. The bottom is pretty good. Okay. And we have 4 inches here. We'll also trim this piece here so it's straight, 90 degrees to the edge. As you notice here, it's kind of ragged. So I'm going to cut a straight edge here. Okay. Now we'll measure about 1.5 inches from the edge that we're going to roll the aluminum from. That should be enough aluminum to give us the stiffness that we want. Here's the mark. Okay. Next, I'm going to take the aluminum skewer, place it on the edge of the can, and bend that edge right against the skewer, or the coat hanger if you don't have a skewer. And I'm going to start the rolling process. Be careful not to cut yourself. The aluminum is quite sharp. I'm going to roll it tight, roll it again, until we're at the mark that we put in 1.5 inches in. Then I'm going to pull the skewer out and take the pair of scissors, and I'm going to cut right next to that with the scissors. Easy for one layer to cut, not a problem. And there we have a little tube of aluminum, okay, with multiple layers. Now we could take a hammer and flatten it out. I'm going to choose a pair of pliers, and I'm going to smash that aluminum down little by little, all the way down to a flat piece. And that's about 5 layers of aluminum, okay? It may not be enough since different aluminum cans have different thicknesses. Try this once you flatten it out, see how it bends. If it's too thin, do another one with more layers. In other words, more than 1.5 inches. Now we have a piece that will hold its shape, that can be placed into the mask to go over your nose. It is stiff enough that it'll keep that shape. Our next step is to take the piece of material, the 11 by 13, with the finished side out, and fold it finished side to finished side in half. That used to be the 13-inch side. Let's iron this flat. And then we will take the folded material and put the piece of metal centered on the cloth. Okay? If you like to make sure it doesn't move, you can put a piece of Scotch tape, if you like, onto it like that. Fold it back. And then to make sure that your sewing machine doesn't sew through the metal and break the needle, I'm going to put a pin, 2 pins actually, poking through to see where the metal is. Right here, so the sewing machine doesn't hit the metal and break the needle. Now we're about to start to sew the mask. The piece of metal is in here, my 2 pins are here. We're going to start from this corner. As I get close to the pin, I'll pull the pin out. Pull out the other pin. Go towards the edge more to lock in the piece. sewn all around from the start to this edge, all the way across the back. I'm on my last stretch. Now, very important is we'll sew that and leave about 2 inches from the top edge where we have the metal piece open, so we can invert the fabric in a while. And there we have it, and we have our pocket here between the 2 pieces of material. An open pocket, so we can turn this inside out. This next segment, we're going to flip the mask inside out. What I'm going to do is put a finger in the mask, go to one of the opposite corner here, take the skewer, poke a hole here, there we go, and we're going to turn that inside out. There we have it, and we're going to use the skewer to pop out the corners. First the far corners, and then the third corner, and we'll fold the material back in at the end that was open, and we'll sew that on the next pass. So that's what we're left with, and now we're going to go iron it. Now we're going to fold the material in this fashion, okay? So we end up with approximately 3 pieces of 1 inch of material for a 3-inch total, okay? And that's what it should look like after ironing. 3 layers like this. So the width of this should be around 3 inches. We'll sew this end, both of these ends shut, okay, with the pleats in it after ironing. Now that we've sewed both ends with the pleats in after ironing it, okay, we're going to fold both ends like this to create a pocket on each end of the mask. And to do that, I'm going to take the skewer, bend it around like this to allow for a pocket here, and let the shoe of the sewing machine sew here. So we should have a good sized pocket, not too tight, to fit the fastening mechanism inside each pocket to go around the ears or the back of the head. As you can see now that we've had pockets on both sides of the mask, I can see by the skewer going through the pocket here. I've put a rubber band since I've run out of elastic, because I made so many masks for the neighbors that I have no longer any elastic, but I use a rubber band. And you can see that you can put a knot in a rubber band and make it as long as you like, if you like it go around the back of your head versus your ears. And then you can tie that together here, whatever distance you want. The key is the piece of metal is here, and now you can bend this piece of metal around your nose, okay, to seal the mask. So the final product, when I had elastic, is this one, for example. And I will put it on again for you. And there you have a finished mask. Thank you for watching.